I'm glad you're influenced by us. Do you need drugs? Go home and smoke something.
Go home and smoke something.
This is Insane Clown Posse, one of the most controversial, chaotic, and completely unforgettable acts in music history. But they're not just a rap duo with face paint and a wild stage show. They're a cultural revolution that refuses to be ignored. From the gritty streets of Detroit, ICP gave the world face-painted clowns, Faygo showers, and a mythology so bizarre it could only be born from their twisted genius. They created not just music, but an entire universe. A dark carnival filled with stories, characters, and a message that's as unexpected as it is profound. Labeled as a joke, a gang, and everything in between, they've not only survived but thrived, redefining what it means to be outsiders in an industry built for conformity. So, how did two kids from Detroit transform themselves into icons of rebellion? How did they create a movement that's as polarizing as it is inspiring? And why, after all these years, are Insane Clown Posse still the ultimate misunderstood geniuses? To truly understand the phenomenon that is Insane Clown Posse, we need to go back to where it all began. A time when two teenagers from Detroit were just trying to escape the harsh realities of their environment. The story of Insane Clown Posse begins in the late 1980s in Oak Park, a working-class suburb of Detroit, Michigan. It was here that two high school friends, Joseph Bruce, later known as Violent J, and Joseph Utzler, Shaggy 2 Dope, forged a bond that would lead to one of the most unique and controversial careers in music history. Both Josephs grew up surrounded by challenges. Poverty, crime, and violence were everyday realities in their neighborhoods. Yet amidst the hardships, they found solace in two things: rap music and professional wrestling. From an early age, the pair shared a passion for music, inspired by the rising wave of Detroit's hip-hop scene. Local acts like Esham and Kid Rock were proving that the city could produce stars in the rap world, and Bruce and Utzler wanted to be part of this growing movement. They also loved wrestling's theatricality, the characters, the drama, and the larger-than-life personas, and dreamed of blending that energy into their music. Together, they saw a chance to escape their circumstances and create something bigger than themselves. In their initial foray into the music world, Bruce and Utzler formed a group called Inner City Posse. This was a straightforward rap act with lyrics that reflected the gritty reality of life in Detroit. They performed at local events and worked hard to carve out a niche for themselves. The group's raw, unpolished style resonated with some listeners, but it wasn't enough to make a lasting impact. As much as they poured their energy into Inner City Posse, they realized they needed something more distinctive to stand out. Maybe the reason nobody's buying dog beats is because we're just doing some of that same old gangster rap like everyone else, man. We ain't from expletive LA. Why don't we just get brave and add to this crazy Detroit sound?
And these were like really defined characters. So when we came up, we were like, man, Inner City Posse, we're just doing the gang thing. That's not very defined. You know what I mean? We're already the freak show.
LA's doing that shit.
This realization came during a particularly tough time for Joseph Bruce. He spent a brief period homeless, sleeping in cars, and struggling to make ends meet. Despite these setbacks, his determination to succeed never wavered. Instead, these challenges became fuel for his creativity. Bruce began to consider the idea of reinventing their group, not just as musicians, but as something entirely unique. What if they could create not only songs, but a whole world, a universe their fans could step into? And shortly after, the breakthrough came when Joseph Bruce had a recurring dream about a clown. In the dream, a dark, mysterious clown wearing a jester's hat guided him through a surreal carnival in the sky. This vision, which Bruce interpreted as a calling, became the foundation for what would become Insane Clown Posse. He shared his dream with Utzler, and the two agreed to embrace the clown imagery. The idea was simple but bold. Let's all paint our faces like clowns and be the Insane Clown Posse. Clowns who murder and kill people who deserve to be murdered or killed. The clown personas were intentionally over the top, blending humor, horror, and chaos in a way that felt completely original. They swapped their gritty, gang-focused aesthetic for a surreal, carnival-themed identity that was as dark as it was entertaining. And so, with new names, Violent J, Bruce, and Shaggy 2 Dope, Utzler, and their faces painted in black and white, the duo became characters in a twisted circus of their own creation. This was no longer just rap, it was a full-blown theatrical experience. But the turning point for Insane Clown Posse wasn't just their transformation into clowns. It was the creation of an entirely new world, The concept of the Dark Carnival would take their music to a level few had ever imagined. The clown concept wasn't just about shock value or grabbing attention. It was the first step in building a much larger, deeply thought-out mythology, the Dark Carnival. This conceptual universe would serve as the backbone of ICP's music, tying together their albums, lyrics, and performances into a cohesive narrative. The Dark Carnival wasn't just a setting, it was a moral framework. Inspired by Bruce's dream, it was envisioned as a grotesque, otherworldly carnival that held up a mirror to society's darkest flaws. Each album introduced a new Joker's card, a symbolic character representing themes like greed, abuse, and personal responsibility. Through their music, ICP challenged listeners to confront their own actions and think about their place in the world. As Violent J described it, each clown face would be a prophet of the newly arrived and named Dark Carnival. Each, in effect, would be holding up a mirror to people to show them something wicked about themselves so they could change. This mythology added depth and meaning to their music, transforming ICP from a novelty act into storytellers with a purpose. The clown personas, while entertaining, were also messengers, delivering moral lessons in a way that was both shocking and thought-provoking. The band's whole purpose is to help their fans live righteous lives to prepare for the final judgment of God. Violent J himself says, "I believe in God, and I feel that the vision I had was His will. Through our music, we can reach out to people who are in need of help. They can hear its deeper, truer purpose that you should strive to enter Shangri-La, heaven, and not become lost in hell's pit." This transformation wasn't just a stylistic change, it was the beginning of a movement. The clown personas, the Dark Carnival mythology, and their theatrical performances gave ICP a distinct identity that resonated with audiences who felt like outsiders. Fans weren't just listening to music, they were stepping into a whole new world, one where they could belong and find meaning. Songs like Riddlebox and The Killing Fields explicitly tell cautionary tales of judgment after death. But that's not all. Songs like Hall of Illusions show abusers what their lives could have been if they had chosen to be better people, and then punish them for their sins. However, Insane Clown Posse's reinvention wasn't just about breaking into the music industry. It was about creating something no one had seen before. In blending humor, horror, and deeper philosophical themes, they paved the way for a new kind of artistry. What started as a dream of a dark carnival became a phenomenon that would change their lives, and the lives of their fans, forever. As ICP's music and performances gained traction, they attracted a dedicated fan base like no other, the Juggalos. However, with their growing popularity also came significant controversy and misunderstanding. Take their explicit lyrics and provocative imagery, for instance, that made them frequent targets of public outcry. But perhaps the most infamous incident occurred in 2011, when the FBI classified Juggalos as a loosely organized hybrid gang. This classification sparked outrage among fans and the duo themselves, who argued that the label was unfair and discriminatory. ICP, along with the American Civil Liberties Union, ACLU of Michigan, filed a lawsuit against the FBI in 2014, asserting that the designation violated their constitutional rights to expression and association. However, the lawsuit was dismissed in 2014, with the court stating that the plaintiffs lacked legal standing to bring the complaint. An appeal in 2017 upheld this dismissal, effectively maintaining the gang classification. In an interview, ICP's members expressed their frustration with being misunderstood and labeled negatively. Violent J remarked,
They think we're just evil bastards, but they still put it out. You hear what I'm saying? Like, in other words, I know there's a good side to ICP. That's why I can write an Insane Clown Posse album with full karma, release it and go promote it and feel good about it. Because I know that there's positivity in our music.
Another source of misunderstanding is ICP's spiritual messages. While their music often references morality and the afterlife, the duo has clarified that they do not identify as a Christian band. "We just want to see good people hopefully go to heaven, which we refer to as Shangri-La," Joseph Bruce explained.
We don't have that type of education as far as what's in the Bible or anything like that. We just, at the end of the day, we want to see good people hopefully go to heaven, which we refer to as Shangri-La.
Shangri-La, right.
These misinterpretations highlight the broader challenges ICP has faced in being taken seriously as artists. Violent J passionately defended their approach in the interview, stating,
Go home and smoke something. Right? Now that right there, think about this. Come on now. This question right here. what I'm doing is I'm playing with them. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying, hey, I know I'm supposed to be this figure to you. You know, I'm older. We should probably say something, you know, righteous or whatever. But I'm playing with the kid, you know?
What if he didn't understand it, though?
Then he's real stupid.
He's messed up in the head.
This reflects their commitment to connecting authentically with fans, even through unconventional means. And it was their commitment to independence and authenticity that inspired countless artists to challenge industry norms and embrace creative freedom. Despite the controversies, Insane Clown Posse's greatest achievement lies in the world they've built for their fans. The Juggalo subculture is a proof of ICP's ability to connect with their audience on a deeply personal level, offering a space where individuality is celebrated and everyone is welcome. They've created a community that's a place to belong for people who honestly don't really belong anywhere else. Although ICP's cultural impact isn't measured in chart-topping hits or critical acclaim, it's in the community they've built. They've created a world where outcasts can feel at home, where individuality is celebrated, and where music is more than entertainment. It's a lifeline. For the millions of juggalos around the world, ICP's legacy is a reminder that there's power in being unapologetically yourself. By staying true to their vision and building something that goes beyond music, ICP has ensured their place as one of the most unique and enduring acts in modern culture. Their story isn't just about success, it's about the power of connection, creativity, and community. Insane Clown Posse is the kind of cultural force that only comes along once in a lifetime. They've got charisma, chaos, humor, and the unapologetic creativity to transform the music industry in their own image. Love them or hate them, ICP's story is one of resilience, rebellion, and the power of community. Their journey from Detroit's gritty streets to icons of individuality proves that even in a world of conformity, outsiders can thrive. Their legacy is more than music. It's a movement, a family, and a reminder that we're all a little insane in our own way.
ICP! ICP!